October, no, more like Fragtober because I got 18 new fragrances in the month of October, so stay tuned. What's good, guys? Hunter here and welcome back to Fragrance Hunter. Hope you're all doing great. Now the month is finally over. October was a fantastic month, guys. I hope you all enjoyed your month as well. Of course, we got so many bangers in the collection that I've been wanting in my collection for such a long time. And this is a series I basically do at the end of every single month just to show you guys what new fragrances I'm adding to the collection. But before we go ahead and get into my pickups for October, drop your pickups down below. Let's not waste any more time and get right into it. So the first fragrance we're talking about is Cutledge Island Vanilla Dunes, which is of course Cutledge's take on Parfums de Mali's Allure. And you will know how I feel about this fragrance if you caught my full review of it that I dropped maybe a few weeks ago at this time. And guys, it opens up fantastic from, of course, like cinnamon, vanilla, spicy cardamom, like that chocolatey praline that we all know and love from the Allure DNA. But it does dry down to this kind of musky, almost maybe like ambroxan base that I'm not the biggest fan of, guys. It kind of falls a little bit flat in my personal opinion. Maybe some of you guys absolutely loved Vanilla Dunes. Just for me, it's not one of the best Allure interpreted fragrances out there, in my opinion, guys. Yeah, it falls completely flat on its face in the forward dry down. And that seems to be the case with a lot of fragrances from Cutledge that I've tried. But yeah, we did add Vanilla Dunes to the collection. We also, of course, added the brand new Island Dreams from Cutledge. Now, this is inspired by Louis Vuitton Symphony. And I'll be honest with you guys, I had so much hype for Island Dreams, guys. I was so excited to get this fragrance. And boy, when I tell you, I was hugely let down from Dreams. Now, it does open up very, very citrusy from that ginger, bergamot, and grapefruit. However, though, the same thing happens with this fragrance, guys. In the base, you get that musky ambroxan that just completely goes dull on me, guys. It just turned into something that's not good by any means. I don't know why this fragrance is getting so much hype. You already know when it comes to me, guys, I'm gonna keep it straight real with you, and you're gonna get my real honest opinion. And I'm not a fan of Dreams, even though I had so much hype for it. It's also more of like a feminine Tigar vibrato La Mesite DNA as well. Now, we did get one fragrance from Cutledge that was actually a banger, and it is, of course, Chiaka Shadow. Now, this bad boy right here is actually very, very good. If I had to choose one fragrance from Cutledge, it's absolutely Chiaka Shadow without a doubt. Now, this one is inspired by Carolina Herrera's Bad Boy Cobalt, I believe. I have never tried that one, but whoa, the DNA in this, guys, is gonna get ladies. I promise you that. It opens up with a burst of pink pepper, this bright citrusy grapefruit, and a ton of lavender in the opening. It dries down to this kind of ambery, patchouli, moss base. And like I said, guys, the best fragrance Cutledge has ever created that I personally smell. Now, I know they just recently revealed Chiaka Snow in a white bottle, I think inspired by Louis Vuitton's Meteor, which I absolutely have to try. Even though the fragrances I've tried that are inspired by Louis Vuitton's, like Blue Spice inspired by Imagination, was not good. Cutledge Dreams wasn't a fan of it either. So hopefully Chiaka Snow is a banger because I love Meteor. But once again, guys, Chiaka Shadow is absolutely worth even blind buying. I'm not even joking. The next pickup is got to be one of my new favorite fragrances in my entire collection, guys, and it is Javoy's Psychedelic. If you love patchouli like myself, you just need to go ahead and get this like right now, because it's the best patchouli I've ever got my nose on, period. And I have so many patchoulis in my collection, guys. I have almost 1,000 fragrances in my collection, and this, when it comes to niche perfumery, guys, is the best patchouli money can buy, and it's not even that expensive at retail. You get this very chocolatey patchouli, like the most chocolatey patchouli I've ever tried in my life, mixed together with a warm resin, this amber, this kind of leathery labdanum note with a base of vanilla. And this right here is a 10 out of 10 masterpiece creation when it comes to fragrances, guys, hands down. No patchouli I've ever tried in my life holds a candlelight to the masterpiece Psychedelic, and that's just a fact. Next, we had another fragrance from Javoy, and this one is Incident Diplomatic. So this particular one is going to be for the vetiver lovers out there, because this one opens up with a bright kind of citrusy mandarin note, quickly fades into this smoky, dry vetiver. Like, a dominant vetiver dry down with Incident Diplomatic, guys, with a little bit of that patchouli, kind of reminiscent to the patchouli you found in Psychedelic. Also pretty spicy from like Nutmeg, but I'm telling you guys, you've never smelled a vetiver like this one before. Also, when it comes to vetiver, vetiver can smell like 100 different things. It can smell grassy, it can smell wet, it can smell very earthy, it can smell dry, it can smell smoky. And this one's much more in that dry, smoky side of vetiver, which I love. I'm gonna tell you right now, Javoy's gotta be the most underrated niche house out there that creates such quality, top tier fragrances that you guys are missing out on. The last Chavoy we got is a newer fragrance from them, and it is Aqua Memorabilia. So this one is gonna be a little bit more brighter compared to the last two, Incident Diplomatic and Psychedelic, because you get a ton of this bright, fruity kind of clementine orange opening, guys, with a little bit of grapefruit and a ton of black pepper. This is a very citrusy, peppery fragrance in the opening. Almost in the same realm as something like Suspero's Basso, Hermes's Terre Hermes, etc. And you do get that vetiver kind of woody cedar wood dry down with Aqua Memorabilia as well. And this one is a very good, versatile, like all year round signature scent worthy fragrance. So if you love something like Raja Parfums Isola Blue, Suspero's Basso, Terre Hermes, you want to check out Aqua Memorabilia. You're not going to be disappointed, especially with the quality of this stuff. Next, I did get a few fragrances from Maison Margiela. The first one is the newest release, Celestial Whispers, in this beautiful black bottle from them, part of the Fantasy Collection. And this, guys, is a very, very unique smoky incense fragrance, which gives off this kind of dark, spooky, witchy vibes. You get this kind of metallic aldehydes in the opening that quickly dries down to like a burst of this like overwhelming smoky incense. Imagine being in like a box, lighting some incense, and you're kind of like in a hot box of smoke. That is how this fragrance smells, with a little bit of this warm resinous amber in the far dry down. A very unique, daring fragrance from Maison Margiela that I'm all for, guys. Fantasy in a fragrance is exactly how this smells. So if you love aldehydes, you love smoky incense, check this baby out. Next, we got one of the most iconic fragrances from Maison Margiela, and it is, of course, Jazz Club, which is one of the most iconic tobacco bougie fragrances that money can buy. This right here is the definition of like sitting in a cigar lounge, smoking these cigars, sipping on some whiskey. That is how this fragrance smells right here, guys, and I love it. It does open up a little bit brighter than I remember from like neroli, lemon, a little bit of pink pepper, but it does quickly dry down to that boozy rum, a ton of this cherry pipe tobacco, and vanilla. Despite having pretty bad performance for the kind of price you're paying for a fragrance like this, the scent profile is extremely, extremely good, and that's why it's basically an icon still at this time in 2025. Got a few fragrances from French Avenue. The first is Azur Oud, which is inspired by Maison Crivelli's Oud Marcuja. And this has gotta be one of the best interpretations of it, guys. Very, very strong as well. Easily lasts over 12 hours on skin. Oh my gosh, this stuff is too strong for its own good. Like literally a beast mode fragrance. You get this tropical fruity passion fruit in the opening, a little bit of rose and saffron that quickly dries down to this little bit of a Middle Eastern barnyardy oud and a rugged dark leather. Very unusual scent profile, being like tropical, fruity, and dark and earthy. But man, does it work, especially if you love Oud Marcuja. You don't want to spend $300 on a bottle of that. Go ahead and get Azur Oud, because this is only going to run you 30 to 40 bucks at tops. And you're going to get a fruity, oudy beast of a fragrance with this bad boy. Also got a bottle of Faucon Faux by French Avenue. And this is going to be inspired by God of Fire. As we all know, guys, tropical, fruity, delicious mango, ginger, lemon. This one added a little bit of this kind of herbaceous green rhubarb in the opening. It makes it very watery as well, but dries down to that kind of tonka bean, ambergris, mossy base. If you love God of Fire, you probably already know about Faucon Faux, because this is one of the best, if not the best, inspired by versions of a God of Fire easily. And I mean, come on, who doesn't love to smell like a delicious ripe mango? Seriously, guys, that is the exact vibe that this is going to give off while you wear it, and it's excellent. Next up, we got a few new releases from Orientica. The first one is Desert Dusk, and this beautiful pastel kind of brown colored bottle, which I love, man. Orientica knows how to do aesthetics when it comes to their bottles. Now, this new release, guys, is going to be this creamy, kind of coconut, powdery type of fragrance. A little bit floral as well, and I'm telling you, this on a lady smells insane. My girl wore this one while we were out shopping one time, and I smelled her throughout the entire store, and it smelled amazing. So ladies and gentlemen, if you love those kind of powdery, coconut, milky type of fragrances, you want to check out Desert Dusk, because this one is good when it comes to that genre. The next one is Orientica's Rose Eclate, which is very similar to something like Parfums de Marly's Delina in my opinion. Of course, like that name, very rosy. It does open up a little bit citrusy from like grapefruit, a little bit of bergamot, but quickly dries down into a bouquet of florals from like rose, peony, violet, with a base of this kind of musky, ambery tone, which is pretty good, especially on women. Not something I honestly would personally wear on myself. But ladies, if you're watching this, you want to smell beautiful, pretty, and elegant, check out Orientica's Rose Eclate. Next, we got a few new fragrances from Zimaya. The first one is Albarari Shore. Now, I recently reviewed this one, also reviewed Albarari Coral, both in this kind of bottle design. And this one, though, is going to be very similar to something like Azzaro, the Most Wanted Elixir, or Forever Wanted Elixir, which is by far my favorite wanted in the entire lineup, guys, because you get that fruity, juicy raspberry and leather combination. And this one also adds a little bit of this sweet, creamy vanilla in the dry down that you don't find in Forever Wanted Elixir. However, though, if you love that fragrance, you love that DNA, it's absolutely worth checking out Albarari Shore because it's also not gonna break the bank. And you can check it out with code HUNTER15 on the Zimaya website because it is brand new. The next one is Zimaya Sharhoff Divine, which is very close to Angel Share Paradise, guys, being a sexy, fruity raspberry boozy DNA, and that's exactly what this is right here, guys. Very seductive, because you also get that spicy cinnamon, a fruity apple with the raspberry, and a little bit of caramel. So it has a mid of like this caramel apple, absolutely sweet and delicious, that dries down to a boozy sweet cognac and vanilla dry down. Now this bottle might look like it's inspired by Angel Share on the Rocks having the frosted glass, but no, it's more similar to Paradise. I'm not sure why they made it in this bottle design, but still, guys, for the fragrance and the scent profile, whoa, far better than a Zimaya Sharhoff blend. So if you own that one, just go ahead and get Divine and you're not going to be disappointed. Also got a new fragrance from the house of Rue Broca, which is sister companies to Zimaya and alpham. This is Hooked Intensely, inspired by Stronger With You Intensely, which is very popular, like going viral, the most popular flanker within the Stronger With You line. And this, man, is absolutely sexy, seductive, and perfect for day nights out in the evening. Spicy pink pepper and juniper opening, guys, that starts to dry down to this spicy cinnamon, sweet toffee with a base of amber, tonka, and vanilla. I don't own Strong With You Intensely, but guys, for the scent profile, this is amazing and gotta be one of the sexiest fragrances for the price easily. So highly worth checking out if you love Stronger With You Intensely. Even if you own it, you might still want to grab a bottle of this, or if you don't and you like that DNA, absolutely check out Hooked Intensely, guys. I promise you. Next up, we got a new fragrance from a niche house. This is the first time I've ever experienced in this house, and it is House of Punte Lilith. Now this baby right here is a very heady, deep floral fragrance with a ton of spices, because you get a burst of cumin right away in the opening. I'm not usually the biggest fan of cumin, however, it kind of does work in this fragrance because I know exactly what it's going for. With like ylang-ylang, rose, a little bit of the cinnamon, but it dries down to this ambergris and castoreum, which makes for a very animalic, earthy dry down with Lilith. Now this is in the same realm as something like Frederic Maule's Musk Ravageur, which I love, and also Guerlain Shalimar, which is an iconic classic that's been around for 100 years. So if you love beautiful, elegant, sophisticated fragrances like that, you want to check out Lilith, especially for the animalic fragrance lovers out there. This one is solid. This next fragrance might be my favorite pickup of October, and it is Yves Saint Laurent's Baby Cat, guys. I've been wanting this fragrance for so many years in the collection, being a vanilla lover, hearing about this one, and it absolutely lived up to all the hype for vanilla, guys. I love this one, and easily one of the best designer vanillas out there by far. Extremely spicy pink pepper and black pepper combination in the opening that starts to dry down to this kind of leathery saffron, smoky resinous alabanum, and a ton of gooey resins, and a base of vanilla and suede, like a ton of suede and vanilla in the deep dry down of Baby Cat. And this Baby Cat name kind of is deceiving because this should be called a lion, because this bad boy roars. Oh my gosh, so addictive. I can wear this fragrance every day in the cold weather. It's that good, honestly. And I've been a huge fan of this line from Yves Saint Laurent. The only one I need next is Tuxedo, being a patchouli lover like myself. But so happy to have this beauty in the collection now, guys. You don't even know. So last fragrance we added in the collection in October is the brand new Bon Parfumé 502 Iris Cartagena EDP. Now you would know how much I love the original Extrait, guys. I reviewed that one, hyped it up so much, especially for those Iris kind of chocolatey fans out there. Absolutely phenomenal DNA, guys. But it could be a little bit pricey, and I always said Bon Perfume is one of the best entry-level niche houses out there for the price, because this one, the EDPs go for only $140 at retail, compared to like over $200 for the straights. Now, I believe this might be a limited edition, guys. If you love 502 Iris Cartagena, maybe you sampled it or whatnot, but you're just a fan of that DNA, check out the EDP, because it also makes it a little bit fresher, more versatile. It opens up with a mandarin orange combination opening, but still that chocolatey cacao, boozy rum, and that buttery smooth iris in the opening. That of course dries down to the sweet, spicy vanilla and a little bit of coffee thrown in here too. But whoa, for $140 and you're getting a fragrance of this quality, it's a no-brainer. Plus it's a limited edition, guys. So let's go through for my 18 new pickups for the month of October. Of course, guys, we got some bangers in the collection now, and I'm so excited to see what we get for the month of November. But before we go ahead, wrap up this video, drop your favorite pickups for October down below. And besides that though, leave a like, subscribe below if you haven't already as well, because what are you doing? I got you with daily fragrance content. And of course, catch all of you back here tomorrow. Take care, everybody.